So I think why is it when I drink, you two don't drink? Tommy told me
I have
that
my water.
Tommy
I
told
have
me
water.
that this would be a drinking episode based
Oh, I
on
forgot I said that.
Oh, you're just drinking Hawaiian Punch though, Aaron. So it
I
doesn't.
am. I brought the whole bottle next to me.
What
I
is
thought-
that? It looks good.
It is strawberry margarita.
Yum.
You just add ice and enjoy. Gluten free.
I love tequila,
yes.
but margarita mix does not mix well with my stomach.
Well, this isn't like a mix. This is like a wine cocktail.
Yum.
So I thought since we watched Venice, I would bring the whole bottle because that's what they do.
That's true. From what I watched of season 2, wow.
Well, before we get started, happy Knots Landing premiere day.
It
Happy
is
Knots Landing premiere day.
42 years ago tonight. That show premiered, and yes, I was alive, and yes, I watched it.
I wasn't.
And that pilot still holds up. It kind of rates up there probably with one of my top 10 episodes from that show. So,
yeah. Did I tell you I made my brother watch it like a month or two ago? The pilot.
I think
and he didn't care for it.
Yeah, he was like, it's very much of its time, and I was like, all right, I tried.
Yeah.
We went looking at Christmas lights, and we drove around a cul-de-sac, and I was like, oh, I want to live in Ox Landing.
Okay, that is why I am obsessed with cul-de-sacs because of that show.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
Ooh, could you imagine a gay cul-de-sac? The drama, but there would always be alcohol
There would be.
and lube
And poppers.
and poppers.
I've never done a popper in my life. I'm too scared.
It's just what you say as a gay man.
It's just something you say, yeah.
I'm being a boring gay man tonight and drinking water, so that's pretty lame. I didn't get the memo that we're supposed to be drinking, so there we go.
I'm drinking water also because I was sick for a week. So
Yes.
Well,
glad
then
you're feeling
you
better.
should hydrate with an alcoholic drink.
There you go.
I don't want to take any chances.
Well, the good news is Venice does a lot of what Nuts Landing does, and it has the beach, so I think it's time to hop into it.
Yep.
Look at him
From the
stealing
comments.
your line.
That's right.
Ooh, I got new headphones, and that was loud.
Wow.
I didn't even know you were wearing headphones.
They're pretty camouflaged.
I see.
Oh my gosh, I could wear green headphones, and you would never know. That's what I need.
There you go.
Your face would turn green.
That'd be very Grinch-like, wouldn't it?
Well, hello everybody. Welcome to Queers and Soaps. This is our official season 1 50th episode.
Wow.
50
Congrats.
whole episodes.
You guys look great for 50.
Yeah,
I know.
and
I
if
go
you
to-
count the bonus episodes, we're like in our 70s. No wonder I'm so tired. Aaron made me work all year.
I made you work all year. You keep giving me episodes like, "Who? Let's do this." Who? I
You're
haven't watched so much TV since high school when I had no friends.
Oh.
When TV was my friend.
Oh.
So today we're talking about the web series Venice again, season 2, starring who, Aaron?
Crystal Chappelle,
Not Carly Chappelle.
not Carly Chappelle. Crystal Chappelle. We'll cheers to Crystal Chappelle.
Yay.
And like I said, since it's Venice, I brought my whole bottle just in case.
You're ready.
So, okay, where do we begin?
Well,
Her
season
father
one.
called her
Season 1 ended with
And-
dead body.
dead hooker, right?
Well, they didn't tell us that. We had to wait until we come back.
Right.
Yes.
Carly, I'm sorry, Gina, got a call from her daddy and walks in and we see that body in the bed. And it's like, what's heck going on here?
I thought it was in the garage.
Was it?
No, it was in the house.
I thought so.
Whatever.
Yeah.
There was a body. There was a body.
Yeah.
So, girl dead.
So they have their little, back and forth. Why did you call me? Why didn't you call the cops? He's a decorated officer. He didn't want, his reputation being tarnished. So while they're going back and forth, she turns her back, and when she turns around, he's now dropped to the floor because he's had a stroke.
I was
Man
like,
has a stroke.
poor Gina. She couldn't catch a break. She's got a dead hooker in the wherever, and then her dad just plops.
For a moment, I was like, who's she going to call first? The cops for her father or somebody to help her get rid of the dead body?
Well, and she didn't call her brother. That's what kind of surprised me is he kind of didn't help on any of that. She was kind of resourceful.
I'm glad she called who she called because you got that great scene of him running down the road, like screaming. And then the foot pops out, and it's just like he's. I love that man.
That was funny.
I absolutely loved Hilary B. Smith this season. Like I was just
oh my gosh, yes,
by all of her scenes.
She was good. She
was
left that eccentric, but in a good way. I thought she was very good for her character.
I was happy Sean Christensen was on this because I liked him on this. So now I know it's not a him and it is a Daniel Jonas thing.
Yeah.
I knew it wasn't him because I've seen him in other things.
Well, I was scared. My mind was like playing with me.
Well, and they gave him like small dosages too, and perhaps what you've encountered him on days, it was just overkill.
Yeah, but he was good in this.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's the younger guy that she's seeing, as she put it in the first season.
That's right. And he's a cop, and she likes bragging about the fact that he's a cop.
Yeah. Her son comes to town, who's played by Wes Ramsey.
And hello. Well, I don't like him with long hair, but still, hello.
And he seems to have some tension with Owen, who is Gina's brother, played by Galen Gearing.
Well, and it seems it's all because the aunt feels so guilty about her sister's death that I think that's why she took care of the other two.
She spent so much time taking care of Gina and Owen and kind of ignored Van. And I think Van, surprisingly, for probably having resentment against his mother, he acted out towards a lot of other people, especially Owen, as we're kind of taking down that path.
Yeah. Owen's still dating Sammy, played by Gina Tognoni, who I love.
Oh my gosh, great. I love her. And I'm like, oh my gosh, Ray finally has chemistry with someone.
And her name is Sammy again.
Yeah.
I'm just like, can we put her, the whole season, I was thinking, can we put her on days and put her with Ray? I'm sure they could. They're getting that Peacock money.
Maybe. They might have to fire a few people. So Van kind of immediately, he comes saying he wants to make amends and kind of repair his relationship with his cousins. But he's kind of like stirring up trouble a little bit by getting into Sammy's life and trying to make a wedge between her and Owen.
Which he had the perfect opportunity because Owen was on a shoot on location, or at least that's what he told everybody. So he really kind of was keeping his distance. So he contributed in that manner by, keeping that lie. That gave Van a really good opportunity to move in on Sammy, build a relationship.
It's funny because when he first meets her, he like throws a frisbee on the beach by her, and he runs over and he has an unopened beer in his hand. And I'm like, you're just playing frisbee with a bottle in your hand. And she has a tall boy next to her. I'm like, everybody just drinks on this show.
Everybody drank this entire season, this entire episode. I was like, exactly. It was like Aaron times cast of 20. It was crazy alcohol going down.
I still have a few Tito's vodka bottles.
They must have been trying for that sponsorship big time.
When they were on the beach, they had their little party. I was like, is there any food or are we just, eating our liquids?
There was grapes and there was olives, and that was about all the food you saw in this entire season.
The aunt, what's the aunt's name?
Gaia,
but I heard them slip in Aunt Jane at one moment, and that kind of jarred me because I'm used to her being Gaia. But
Yeah.
She always had like a martini in her hand with
Mhm.
two olives.
I
It
enjoyed
looked
her
like.
scenes where she had her vodka martini with her olives, and she was sitting in bed and reading her old diary.
Yes.
I love her.
Yeah, she was really good in those scenes.
She was very good. Yeah.
I mean,
The funnier ones, the emotional ones, it was just all good. Like I was just so drawn in by her. So I don't know where I want to go from here. Oh, so the Colonel had a stroke.
Yeah.
He's fine, but he needs rehab, and he's at home. And they can't seem to keep a nurse because he's not participating in his own rehab, and he's just kind of being a dick to everybody.
Right.
So
I
now
love that-
Gina has taken it upon herself to move in to be his live-in nurse, which is interesting because of their relationship.
She's hardcore. She makes him like follow that diet and do those exercises, and all he is like, I want a hamburger. I want a hamburger.
Yeah,
I want a hamburger.
he wasn't that I want a hamburger, so when he's like, and she's like, a burger? Are you kidding me? When she put soup in front of him, I thought he was like gonna flip the soup. But it's interesting because she does break through to him, but unknowingly. Like he has these private moments.
Mm-hmm.
Where you kind of start to like him.
Right. When she looks at those photos of the family and then they get to the one of her mom, his late wife, and then she kind of leaves the photos there at the table and he looks at it and he kind of has that moment of clarity. And it kind of gave him that will to live, it seemed like, because that's when he picked up the stress ball and started really working it and started having that turn the corner moment. I think the second one was when he sat and listened to Gina read out loud the letter that she wrote to Annie.
That was a twist I did not see. I was not expecting him to take that letter
and mail it.
I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
The Colonel's coming around. When she slipped in, she called him Dad as well. I was like, oh, like I was like, oh.
All of a sudden, you were like emotional. You're like,
oh. I know. I was like, oh. I don't even call my dad Dad.
He had a tender moment, but I mean, he just listened to the words and he just heard of two people who obviously loved each other and got to hear his daughter's side. And that bonding time, her moving in, made them grow closer without either of them knowing it.
When she said, if I date a guy, would that help? And then they brought on then they brought on Peter Records, which gave me my Bo and Hope moment. I like to pretend at that moment they were Bo and Hope.
Right.
I'm living in a fantasy world.
So did
Bo and Carly, yeah, Bo.
Yeah.
Blasphemy, forgive me, Jesus.
So Peter Reckle plays Richard. Did Richard and Gina have a little something back in the day, way back?
It seems like they dated right before she came out.
Okay.
Because the Colonel just loved him. Maybe that's why he's kind of mad though, because that was the son. Owen even said it. That's the son he always wanted.
Right.
So maybe that's why he kind of resents Gina.
Maybe they dated in high school because there was a line and it made it sound like Gina came out after the mother died.
I think so.
I don't know how old they were when the mother died.
Pretty young, because I think the car accident happened when Van was a baby.
Right, like he got out of the car seat or something.
Yeah.
Or he was a small child, let's put it that way, and he was probably still buckled in.
Yeah. And because I was not expecting Gaia to be the reason for their mom dying, which made a lot of sense.
I totally forgot that it was even a car accident. I thought it was like an illness that she died from.
I thought, oh, this makes sense why Gaia is the way she is with them. She feels guilty. She took their mom.
Right.
Yeah. So Laura has a drinking problem. More so than everybody else on this show.
I was about to say, at first when they started, like when they slowly go into it, I was kind of like, you're giving her a hard time about a glass of wine. Didn't you all just pound like a bottle? But as she gets farther on into her addiction, then you're like, oh yeah, girl, you drink a lot more than the rest of them.
Yeah.
You fall asleep in your car.
Do you guys remember the scene in first season when she was on a date with Ani and she rented out the whole restaurant and it was just empty and it was just the two of them?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So she had a line where she mentions that her father is an alcoholic.
I don't.
And it's something that I notice now because I have seen more. But I was like, see, that wouldn't have ticked off my radar, not knowing that she was going to have a drinking problem later on.
It was interesting seeing how confident she was in season 1 versus season 2, because in season 1, when Laura and Ani met Gina and Leslie Kay's character on the rooftop, she was very comfortable and very confident, not threatened, knowing that this was an ex, and she seemed good with it. And this time it seemed like, I don't know if she was having self-doubt or she was just succumbing to the alcohol, and she didn't realize it when she's on the beach and she's got her flask and, passing out in her car and ordering 2 more Bloody Marys the next day and stuff like that. It kind of spiraled pretty quickly for her.
Well, since we're talking about her, oh my God, that shower scene. Even I thought it was hot.
Yeah, there was part I was like, are they showing boobs on this show? I saw a lot of side boobs, but I was like,
I did too. I was like, oh, Nadia.
Mm-hmm.
But then I was like, am I into this? Oh, this is what straight guys like lesbian porn. Okay, I get it. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I'm not trying to objectify. I mean, Nadia is gorgeous, no matter what you do.
Yeah,
it's very interesting to see her play this character because it's the total opposite of Chloe on Days.
I know. I need Chloe to get a little bit of her.
Yeah.
She had scenes with Gina where she didn't seem like she was threatened by her.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I just think she probably, the pressures of her work and everything too, and she's probably, successful at what she does, and she's got these deadlines, and she just kind of was procrastinating.
Yeah.
I love how, you start learning about these people slowly. So you learn she's a writer. She's published a book. And then as she's drunk, I've got the best-selling series of all time. I was like, oh, girl.
I was like, then why are you living there? I was like, in the world? Are you sure?
I was just like, girl, I'm like, okay. I love as we learn more. Because it's on the beach.
And everything's expensive in Venice. Take it times 10. So there you go.
She's probably barely making it there.
There was a scene
got enough money for booze, so there we go.
Yeah, right.
Can you imagine her budget?
There's a scene where Ani says that she's gonna meet up with Gina because her father just had a stroke, and she was just like unbothered by it. She was like, "Oh no, you're a good friend," and I was like, "Oh, all right."
Oh yeah, because I kind of been like, "Okay, I've got my phone, my keys. We ready to go?" Oh yeah, I'm coming along. You didn't know that,
right?
I care about what's his name, Colonel. Yeah. I'll bring the alcohol.
It seems like she's become fast friends with everybody in the group.
Right. What is the soap?
She's just hanging out with them, drinking. I don't remember Gina's assistant's name. Do you guys?
I do. It's Michelle.
Oh. Michelle.
Yes.
Yeah, she was
Michelle and Jamie have their scenes together and are kind of sharing their gossip and stuff like that. But yeah, it's Michelle who is Gina's, I don't know, assistant or protege or what you want to say.
Something like that, yeah.
I keep forgetting that this show is over 10 years old now, because they'll be like, find a man online. And, this is my Twitter. I'm like, you met him on Twitter? Okay. But then I'm like, oh, well, yeah, that makes sense. That probably would have been.
I was just about to mention that because first she says Facebook, and I was like, and I know that happens because I actually did date somebody from Facebook. Big mistake. But that was the ex that moved in and never left.
He still lives there.
Yeah, he still lives with my grandmother. Yeah, so it was interesting because I was like, oh, yeah. I think that was around the time dating apps were starting to become a thing. Because I definitely was on OkCupid and Plenty of Fish back then.
Oh, not to get off the subject, but I had Plenty of Fish, but I deleted it like right away because it was like just the thought of finding someone on a name called Plenty of Fish. I feel like it made me feel like I sunk to my lowest. I don't know why. It just did. Maybe because I didn't meet any good people on there. It's like, huh, well, this is the bottom of the barrel of that fish.
You're not wrong. It kind of is.
The catfish is probably what it maybe should be called.
Bottom dwellers.
Nothing against anyone on there. No judgment. No judgment. Didn't work for me.
Listen, I deleted and re-downloaded that app so many times.
Well, are you even a gay man if you don't delete and re-download? Delete, re-download.
Mm-hmm.
We get lonely so easily.
But anyway, back to Venice. So yeah, they had a few cute scenes. I feel like some of the side characters are just kind of sprinkled in here and there. Like, I can't remember the older woman's name, the one that had that reading in the first season.
It was Catherine. It was her name, played by Tina Sloan. Yep.
So we kind of saw her thinking she might date a woman now.
When she was at that bar, I wanted to be like, girl, just go, just anything, just bump into her.
She had all that self-dialogue conversation with herself about like opening lines to try and pick her up. And then finally, what's his name? I can't remember his character's name on there.
Alan. I think his name's Alan.
I think you're right.
Alan.
It is Alan, played by Michael Sabatino. And he's like, hey, you having some self-dialogue going on here? And he's giving her crap. And it was kind of funny.
Yeah.
And Gaia really didn't take any time where she was having all these blockages where she felt like she lost her powers basically to try and forecast or give her a reading basically on what was going to happen. It was kind of interesting.
She lost her mojo.
Yeah.
Well, because she's got the character's name that kept popping up all the time was labeled as Amber, at least on IMDb. I don't know that they ever said her name in the show, but it was Elizabeth Kiefer, who used to be on Guiding Light, in case people out there recognized her. And she's like, every time Gaia turns around, she's there. And the minute she looks away, you know she's going to be gone. And she turns back and she is.
I couldn't figure out, is she a ghost or spirit, whatever you want to call her?
Right.
It was a little confusing because she offered to pay her, so it was kind of like, oh, this woman just wants some kind of advice or help. So it was a little off-putting, but every time she turned away, like to look at her schedule or like to answer the phone, she was just gone.
Right. Like one time, even Gaia's man stud, Brandon, was there instead of her when she turned back, and it was kind of funny too. And it's like, hey, you could be on screen. That's not a problem. As he gets his beach scene where he's running across with his surfboard, I'm like, oh, okay, gratuitous shirtless pose. I'll go for that. Sign me up.
And then her and Gina are kind of gawking. That was the scene where she called her Aunt Jane, and I was like, oh, okay, that's her name.
Okay.
And of course they're drinking.
Right.
Everybody just always has. I'm like, there's open bottle laws. Like,
maybe not on the beach. Maybe the beach is different.
In New York, you're not really supposed to drink on the beach. We do.
Right.
We hide them in red Solo cups, but whatever.
Oh, see, we hide ours in Sonic cups or those tumblers. I mean, I don't.
But big gulp cups or water bottles.
Yeah, any kind of, like, if you go to any kind of tailgating it's not allowed to drink, you know that's what's in that Sonic cup,
right,
or that big tumbler.
It's fun.
So yeah, everybody's starting to notice Lara's alcohol problem, just from her passing out, being belligerent, finding empty bottles, and everybody has said something like, maybe you should slow down, maybe you should drink some water. And she's like, no, I'm fine.
I'm surprised Gina didn't say something to Ani about it. You know what I mean? Considering she's got feelings for Ani, she kind of kept her mouth shut about it. And Ani kind of discovered it on her own when she like opens up the garbage and sees it full of empty wine bottles.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the great and powerful Crystal Chappelle really gets Gina and knows that if not saying anything is better.
The great and
She does-
powerful.
The great and powerful. Well, she's like the Wizard of Oz behind Venice. She's
So Lynn actually had texted me last night. We both had noticed in the credits that Susan Flannery.
I was just thinking that. I was just thinking that, but I was like, I can't work this into the conversation.
It took me till like episode 2, and I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like paying attention and reading a little bit more, and I'm Googling right away. I've got to know a little bit more about this because Susan's actually directed quite a bit. She directed some Guiding Light. She directed something else too. I can't remember.
When did she leave Bold full time?
That's what I was trying to remember. If it was like around 2010 or something like that, like if it's been a decade now at least.
2012 is when she.
Okay.
I feel like Stephanie needs to come back to life.
Bold doesn't really do that unless you're like a supervillain. Like
Taylor came back.
Yeah,
Taylor
but
came back multiple times on that show, though. There was multiple times where Hunter Tylo left and came back, so it was kind of funny.
Bold and YNR don't really do Back from the Dead, like extreme Back from the Dead, like Days does.
And General Hospital does it way too much, too, so yeah.
I love a good Back from the Dead.
I do, too. But
if it's good, I think what happened when Susan Flannery decided to leave Bold, she really was retiring from acting, and they took and wrote her really poignant death scene with Brooke, and I think she wanted to make sure I'm going to go out and it's going to be very well known and very climactic, and it was. So yeah. She can keep directing Venice. Maybe she's directing the next season that's coming up. So
I have to keep an eye on the credits.
When you get your email from Crystal Chappelle that she sends directly to you, it'll probably be in there.
It's been a few days. She's been busy.
I know. You would think, as her biggest fan, I would get the emails.
Well, you didn't sign up for the newsletter. So when Ani, keep wanting to call her Lonnie, but it's Ani.
Yeah.
He's the empty bottle in the garbage can, and when Lara comes home, she like wants to pour a glass of wine, and Ani's like, "No, you don't need that," and she kind of like sways her away with sex. I think that's when the shower scene happens.
It was. I was like, that was a good segue. Let's get her not to drink. What are we gonna do? Yeah, entice her to sex. Hey, that works.
The Will, Sonny, Leo shower scene wasn't even that good. I mean,
I know that was on streaming.
I know. It's like good work, girls. You made the gays go.
Good job, Susan Flannery. Well directed.
Exactly. True.
And Nadia, way to make us go. Oh yeah. I'm like, oh my god.
So Gina hosts a party for Ani's gallery opening?
No,
I think
it was Laura. Gina was helping plan it.
I was going to say Gina kind of like planned the whole menu and what they were going to have and things of that nature. I think is how it was. And then like, didn't Laura give a toast to her and thank Gina for doing that? So,
and is it at that party where they are talking to the cop, Sean Christian's character, and they realize he's a cop, and then we get the flashback to how he got rid of the body, how Jamie,
right?
All the places to take a dead body, you can take it right to the funeral home.
And it's just tied up in a neat bow, like, oh, a hooker, she died from whatever drug.
Wait, they find out the resolution, and they're kind of like, okay, don't have to worry about having to lie to the cops or anything.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't remember how that was resolved. I knew it was like
pretty quick.
That was our big cliffhanger.
I don't know why the person would move the body.
Funny.
So the Colonel's, get guilt free. Doesn't have to worry about that.
Right.
I'm surprised he never brings about that. So what
had like a book. Didn't that hooker have like a book and she mentioned the Colonel in it several times and stuff like that? And so they could all keep that quiet. That was their way of
Mhm.
silencing it. But then you're right. Gina got to tell the colonel what this woman, how she passed away and what the reasoning was and stuff like that too.
Yeah.
So,
You already
which I
mentioned
love.
that they took the letter and mailed it at
Yeah.
the end.
I love how she got him to be active though, where she takes his football that he's loved, his prized possession, and sets it down and takes it out of its glass box and takes it outside. And he's like, nope, nope. And it's like, he's going to get up and go out there. And sure enough, he does.
Real quick, back to the letter. I hate how I analyze stuff now when I watch things because I'm just like, there's no return address on there. It's not going to get sent.
They had DNA on the back because she kissed it, so they could use that lipstick to.
It's like, there's no return address.
At least there was
So,
a stamp on it, so it made it. Although we didn't
Well,
see
yeah.
her get the letter this season, did we?
No. Mm-mm.
Ah,
That'll be a plot point next season.
okay. Instead, what we did see is Annie confront Laura, and Laura is just kind of spiraling out of control and gets violent and pushes her against the wall and really hard. You know what I mean? So she's got like a bruise from it the next day too.
I didn't know her face hit that wall because I thought, oh, her shoulder. I was like, oh, poor thing. She gets in front of the mirror. I'm like, damn, girl.
Right?
That was some like throw against the wall.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this is how I know I'm broken, because my toxic ass was like, she was drunk, it's fine, it won't happen again. It's not like she hit you.
Part of me was thinking the same thing.
Oh, goodness.
Like, I was going, well, this she didn't hit you. I was like, oh my God, like, it's wrong.
She was
either
drunk,
way.
and you guys were like, whatever, and you hit your face on the wall.
Yeah, it was like, just,
It was a bad situation, but I'm broken. I don't know what to tell you.
Unfortunately, I don't think it was enough for Laura to go, whoa, I have a problem. You know what I mean? I'm out of control.
She kind of did. She kind of went,
She had a nice emotional crying scene. That was fun. I've never seen Nadia act like that on Days.
Right?
I don't feel like Laura is like really abusive. Oh my God, why am I defending? Like,
Because you're also broken.
We're broken, Tom. We're broken, Tommy. Because I'm like, well, this will probably be good for Ani because I doubt she'd do anything Ani wanted at this point because she feels horrible.
Mm-hmm.
This is why I was in a long-term bad relationship.
Mm.
At the end of the day, that's not a reason to get sober for somebody else. You need to get sober.
No, you have to get sober for yourself.
Right, without a doubt. But if she's recognizing how detrimental she is to everybody, she's got to fix herself before she can really have a relationship.
I mean, even at the party, she got wild. Well, prior to that, at the party, she got wild and fell in the pool.
Exactly.
But she loved it. It was like, woo, I'm in the pool. Yeah. Oh, Nadia proves she's so amazing.
She never got sick and threw up. So good for her holding her liquor.
Whoa.
Yeah, because I'm not that girl. I can't hold my liquor.
No, you can't.
Yet he's the only one drinking tonight, ladies and gentlemen.
And if you notice, I'm still just a sipping. Because I forgot this has tequila, and tequila gives me PTSD.
Oh.
So Gina helps Ani get her home and into bed, and she kind of has this private moment where she picks up one of Ani's shirts, I think, and she just kind of like sniffs it.
And see, we should be saying that's kind of creepy too.
It's a TV thing, I think.
I know. It's like, look at us. We're like, oh, it's so romantic. She's taking a dirty sweater and smelling it. But it's Crystal Chappelle, so it's okay. She gets a pass.
And then I think after that scene is when we got it was either in that episode or the next episode where we got the scene where she reads the letter out loud.
Heartbroken.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, she finally loves, and she can't have her.
And it was so great that they waited till like she was done reading the letter, and then they cut the camera over to her dad, and her dad's head's turned, and he's listened to everything, and he doesn't say anything, but you know exactly what he's thinking. I thought that was very well executed.
I don't know how Crystal Chappelle did this, but she had this one tear on her lip, and I was thinking, "Girl, you doing some good acting," because I know that I would have been like,
Bothering you.
you know, yeah, it would have bothered me,
Yeah.
but not Crystal Chappelle because she's
a professional.
She's a professional.
Am I the only one that's kind of torn between, like, I feel like Ani has chemistry with both girls, and like I know like, Endgame she should be with Gina, but like I also kind of like her with Laura.
Right.
Endgame should be Tharple. I don't know why I'm so for Tharple on a television show, like with Johnny, Allie. No, actually, no, not those three. Never mind. That wouldn't work. I know. I was like, oh, never mind. That doesn't work. But with these three, yes, let's go. Let's try a Tharple. Imagine that shower scene. Whew, I have to turn up my air. No, I'm kidding.
Hope they have a big shower, like
well, she is the best-selling author of an amazing
That's
series.
right.
So, if the relationship grows, the shower can grow.
So meanwhile, also too, Gina's been so focused on the rehab of her dad, just kind of pushed her work aside.
Mm-hmm.
And Alan's getting a little upset, and he calls, I forgot her name already. He calls Michelle, the protege or the assistant or whatever, who's been busy dabbling and doing some interior design and whatnot. And he's like, I need to have this in 24 hours or it's gone, and the lawyers are going to get involved, and blah, blah, blah. And Michelle makes the decision to erase her name off of the design, and she forges Gina's signature on it and sends it off in the mail. Mm-hmm. And then did we get resolution? It seemed like Michelle had a conversation with Alan. We didn't hear Alan's side of it, but did they accept the design that she sent off?
It seems like it.
Based on what I know, I believe so. This storyline gets delved into a little bit more going forward. Tracy, who is played by can't remember her name. I always call her Molly from As the World Turns.
Yes, by Leslie Kay.
Yes,
who wasn't on this season.
She wasn't on this season, but she gets mentioned a few times by the British girl that's working with Michelle.
Oh, is that the one that's also on Bold and the Beautiful as Felicia?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
But I always just think Molly from As the World Turns when I see her.
Of course, I get it. She was on there a long time.
Yeah. But yeah, she gets mentioned. Apparently, she's not handling the breakup too well. She's apparently being bitchy.
Well, I mean, if Crystal Chappelle broke up with you, wouldn't you be that way too? You lost Crystal Chappelle. Just kidding. I can't help it. One day she will say my name. And it won't be in a courtroom because I've been like watching. No, I'm just kidding. With binoculars.
Funny.
So
ooh, maybe this is
Van has kind of inserted himself into Sammy's life and is volunteering at the soup kitchen on Thursdays with her, running into her on the beach, and he lets it slip that his cousin has been lying to her about what's going on in the movie.
How did he find out about that?
Because Gaia knew, and Gaia must have told him.
Oh, okay.
Gaia must have told her son that. I was wondering the same thing, and that's how I connected the dots.
I must have not, because I loved his little.
It was a phone call. He overheard Owen on the phone with somebody.
Oh, well, okay. Whoops, we both missed it there.
I remember him sitting there all attractive, like, in that chair when he's like,
he was kind of proud of himself with the damage he had done, definitely.
So he gets recasted next season, and Eric Martsolf.
And say that last part again. Say it again.
Eric Martsolf, Brady from Days, plays him.
Okay.
Why does he get recasted?
I don't know if he was recast.
He must have been busy.
It's weird because then he comes back. He comes back, so it's like he gets recasted and then he comes back. So
okay.
He must have not been available when they filmed.
Okay.
And I believe Gina Tonioni is done now. Also, she gets recasted. Also, the actress that plays Hope on Bold and Beautiful. Annika Noel plays her going forward.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Well, I don't know who that is. I'm just sad that Gina's leaving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like.
I don't know if this. I don't know if in between this season and the next is when she started on YNR and she just wasn't available.
Maybe.
But yeah. So
she seems like she really
I
wants
feel
to
like I
stay
missed
together.
something.
She seems like she really wants to stay together with Owen, and Owen's like having his own crisis on dealing with his lie and doesn't really want to face her.
Did we see him meet? I feel like I missed something. Maybe I looked away, or I don't know. But he's just sleeping with a random girl. Or did we see him?
Yes, because I remember thinking, I was like, oh, this is such a Rafe Luis trait that he's so good at playing. He sees something, but he doesn't finish seeing the whole thing. So he sees the kiss, and then he hurries it because he's, oh, I'm Rafe or Luis or Owen, I'm mad. And he runs off, does something stupid, and then realizes, big mistake.
Yeah. Self-sabotage.
Like, damn you, Luis, Rafe, Owen. I was having Rafe and Luis flashbacks.
Right.
So, the final scene of the season.
Oh, hang on. Last thing.
I was gonna say I've been avoiding spilling anything, so I'm letting you do the lead.
Owen's little hookup with this random girl. I love how his apartment was just this random shade of orange. Like the cinematography is fine, everything, but I just thought it was like, because they're kind of darkened so that their silhouettes, you can't see them,
right?
Or see who the girl is, but just the walls like orange. I'm like, huh.
And yet their sets are still better than Days.
I thought it was well shot. I thought it looked good. I was
it looks good. I was just like, I want my kitchen to have a random lights like that we light up. I need that in my house.
I'll send you some links.
So
now, last scene.
So Amber, the woman that's been appearing and disappearing with Gaia,
right,
appears again, and she's basically just like screaming at her to help me.
I know.
Like, I'm blacked. I told you. I gave you your money back. I'm not doing this, but she feels like she has to because this woman is in crisis.
Right. Gaia is just such a nice person because as soon as she started yelling at me, I'd be like, "Listen here, bitch. These cards don't just work on cue.
Right?
It has to come to me. Like it has to come to me. It's not just something I turn on.
And the woman, what does she start saying? She says, "Why did you do this to me?
Mm-hmm.
Like this is all your fault. Like why?" And she's just like screaming at her. And based off of that, Gaia looks down and notices her fingernails. And she kind of pieces together that this could be her sister.
So is this random girl just possessed by the spirit?
That's what I don't know. It's like, is she a vision that Gaia's seen, and that's why she's having such a hard time reading this?
Because I couldn't figure out if Gina saw this person when they're at this party, and Aunt Gaia just walks off to see the girl or that lady. Because how it was kind of filmed,
it didn't look like anybody else saw her or interacted with her.
Right.
Like even when Gaia went to go get her book and she was gone and it was Sean Christian.
Right.
Oh my gosh.
I just feel like nobody else ever saw her.
Right.
Everything that woman, every move she made, every arm, wherever. I was watching because I was trying to see, is this supposed to be a ghost? Like does Gaia touch her? Like I'm looking like at their hand movements and everything. Okay, so she is real. Okay. She real. All right.
So I don't know if this is supposed to be like her sister's spirit possessing somebody else, and she's just kind of in limbo because she has unfinished business.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was a very good cliffhanger ending. I kind of like that because I was starting to suspect that, but I'm like, well, she'd recognize her if she was her sister. But you're right. There must be some sort of conduit through this woman. But is this woman even really real? I don't know, considering how she can come and go in a heartbeat.
I just wish they would have ended on Gaia's face, like saying her sister's name or something.
She did. When she looked at the nail, she said Katie.
Oh. Well, the last shot should have been Gaia's face, not the fingernails. That was just
See, I've watched the first 2 seasons a couple of times, so I can kind of pay attention to like the smaller details.
Sure.
So I'm just like, oh, and I catch things that I didn't catch before.
Sure.
Yeah, so from what I know, I think there was almost like a 2-year break between season 2 and 3. Because so imagine ending on this cliffhanger and being like, is the show coming back? Like, what's happening?
Right. Wow.
I would have been fucking pissed if I was one of those fans. I'd be like, Crystal Chappelle, why do you torture me like this?
I thought it was very well shot and very well directed.
Oh,
so
yeah.
there you go, Susan Flannery and everybody. I felt like they raised the bar on season 2 on how that was shot.
They did. And
they also had like a music budget. I feel like we didn't really have songs in the episodes in the first season, and this one there was a whole soundtrack.
I found myself wanting to Shazam some of those songs. I was watching it on my phone, so I couldn't.
Got it.
Well, if you want to go back at the end of most of the episodes, it tells you the songs and like who sings them.
Sure, well, I was so scared I wouldn't get the season finished, so I was like, I'll do this later. But I love the way this show's filmed. I think, to me, it's still, out of all the web series I've seen, Venice and EastEnders.
Mm-hmm.
Is it EastEnders? Eastsiders are the best 2 I've seen.
Nice.
I mean, I haven't watched The Bay, so I can't. I hear good things about it, but I haven't seen it.
The Bay has won awards and whatnot. Yeah, The Bay must be good because it's really gotten some accolades, and I think even like it's won some of the category for online series during the daytime Emmys and stuff like that too. So,
yeah. But all right, so how would you grade the season?
8.5.
Okay.
8.5. It needed a little more Crystal Chappelle. I feel like she wasn't. I mean, I know they were trying to showcase the other characters, but I still feel like it needed just a tiny more sprinkle of CC.
I'd probably give it like an 8 to 8.5. I thought it was good, but I thought they did a really good job on showcasing everybody. I liked that Hillary B. Smith was a lot more active in the plot as Gaia and stuff like that. We went deeper.
I forget how much I love that woman too.
Mm-hmm.
I miss her as Nora.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah, I know she was loved on One Life to Live. I didn't really watch that show, so I don't really have any like prior appreciation for her.
Sure.
But I love seeing soap actors work together that it wouldn't normally work together.
There's just something about her that just, I don't know. I remember when I would watch One Life to Live, I was always I was drawn to her. I always liked her. She had this like calming, soothing kind of, she could hit comedic timing and things like that. She was really good.
I was upset when they recast Margot and she got the role, and it took me like about 2 weeks, and then I fell in love with her. And then she was on there for like a stretch of 5 or 6 years, and then when she left, I was sad.
But I'm with Tommy. I love seeing different actors, like Nadia and Crystal have been in the same universe, but they've never been together until now. So I love seeing that, and it makes you go, man, they have some potential scenes that could have been really good. What if Carly and Chloe hooked up?
You say this all the time. Do you forget?
I know, but I still let me just say, let me have my what if. They're not letting me have Chloe and Philip, so
you're like Dory. You forget what you said.
It's because I've got my Crystal Chappelle goggles on, and I forget.
So do you guys have any predictions for what might happen?
Well, I feel like Owen and Van will throw. What do the kids say? Throw hands or whatever.
Throw blows.
Yeah, whatever. I'm not as young as I used to be. I feel like they'll get into it.
Okay.
Of course, Ani's gonna get the letter. Ooh, I don't know. Maybe Laura gets the letter first.
Ooh.
Opens it and tries to hide it.
Maybe.
Because she's like, well, Ani went through my emails. I'll just go through her letters. Yeah.
Do you think Lara will get sober.
It's going to be a hard road.
I'd agree. I don't think it's going to probably happen quite so quickly.
Well, going forward, I don't really know too much more, so I can't remember if she gets sober or not.
You're asking for predictions that you don't even know about.
I have a feeling we're going to go through all next season, though, and Catherine Pierce is still going to be wondering if she's going to meet a guy or a girl, though, because I'm like, okay, 2 seasons have gone by. It was a plot point brought up on like episode 3, and nothing's happened since then.
If I remember correctly, I think we see more of Michael Sabatino next season.
Oh, I hope so. He's funny as Alan.
Yeah, he's good.
Crystal
like
definitely has a lot of friends. There's like a lot of different people from different shows.
Right?
Oh, I feel like she could probably be at a dinner and just name drop. Oh, well, I know. I know she wouldn't do this because she's Crystal Chappelle and she's amazing. But she can name drop soap stars like it was nothing. I bet.
Funny.
On Venice, we had blah 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 and blah blah blah.
But all right, guys. Well, thanks for joining us for our 50th season 1 episode of Queers and Soaps. This is our season finale, actually. But don't worry, we will be back next week with our season premiere.
Because we don't take breaks. We are like a soap. We don't take breaks.
That's right.
We don't have any Olympics.
New year, new season.
New year, new season, new us.
So we're gonna kick off the new year talking about some classic soap operas, and our first go around is going to be classic Bold and the Beautiful.
Ooh,
we talked about the first 25 episodes earlier in our run, and now we're going to talk about a few more.
We're finally going to make it to episode 26.
That's right. It only took about 50 episodes, everybody, but it's going to happen.
We're finally moving to the next 25. You can watch those. Oh, I was just going to say, you can watch those early episodes on their YouTube page for Bold and the Beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to know what we're talking about.
Next Wednesday is the series premiere of Aaron's audio drama.
I was about to say, ooh, is there a new... I was literally about to say, ooh, there's a new show. What is it? It's mine. Ooh, ooh.
That's exciting.
It is.
Yeah, January 5th. The same day that All My Children premiered.
Mm-hmm, which is why I didn't choose that day. But as soon as I found out that was the day, I was like, that's the day.
Nice.
It's a good omen.
Tomorrow is a new day.
Maybe that means I was trying to be creative, but it slipped. Too much strawberry margarita wine. And I barely drunk any.
Oh.
Well, thanks for joining us again, Lynn.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Our season finale.
Congrats, you had a good, busy year. You guys cranked out the podcast, and we'll be looking forward to seeing what you have on deck for 2022.
Well, and we made it. Like, there were times when we thought we wouldn't. No, we never thought that, but
I didn't want to buy anything for this podcast until we got like 10 episodes.
And now
we might just stop.
And now all I hear
bought a microphone, and that's scary.
Well, and now all I hear is, I want a coffee cup. I want a fucking coffee cup.
Merch.
You want a coffee cup with the logo?
Yeah, did you send it to Greg or not?
That'll come in 2022.
Yeah. Merch available soon.
All right. We'll see you in the new year. Have a happy, safe holiday, everybody. I hope you enjoyed your Christmas, Kwanzaa, Hanukkah. I don't know if there's any other holidays in between.
And if you're going out on New Year's, don't drink and drive. Have a sober driver. Be safe.
We will see you in 2022.
Happy New Year.
Bye.